Hey beautiful people, and welcome to another video. I thought I would just do a quick update on our paperwork situation because I did recently post that video, this video about why I couldn't leave South Africa, and since then there has been a meeting. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, go check out that video in the description box below. I'll put a link to it. I'm an Australian currently living in South Africa, and if this is your first video of mine, thank you so much for clicking on it. Please remember to subscribe and hit the little bell icon so that you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. So for most of you, you probably know the whole situation with my visa, that I accidentally overstayed it, and Home Affairs in South Africa was really actually quite mad at me for doing that. I know it was my fault, and it's actually a really big deal, bigger than I originally thought it was. It's a really bad thing to overstay your visa. I found out in July that it had expired in June of this year, 2019, and I overstayed by 3 weeks, which is a really big deal. As soon as I found out, I went to Home Affairs, and since then, every month, the meetings have kind of been postponed. I applied for a letter of good cause, which means that I was trying to basically ask them for forgiveness and to allow me to reapply for my new visa from within South Africa. And this meeting kept being postponed, and then they ended up rejecting it, and then it got sent to the head department in Pretoria in South Africa, where like all of the big officials get together and they basically discuss these cases. And ours just kept getting postponed and postponed. And finally, we got some news, but it was definitely not what we were hoping for. It's not the worst case, you know, it's not that bad, but it's still quite a big stressor in our lives right now, because obviously we weren't, this wasn't the outcome that we were hoping for. So they had a meeting on the 10th, and then we saw him a few days later, the official who's dealing with Home Affairs in the town that we live in. Who's dealing with these cases and things like that. He's really nice, but he's not the person who basically has the say on who gets to stay and who has to go. So the answer that they gave us was that our application was not successful, which means that it was denied. And literally when he told us this, like, I was trying so hard not to cry. I just had like every emotion going through my mind, like, gosh, now they're going to kick us out. What are we going to do? What am I going to do with Ava? Like, she doesn't have her Australian citizenship sorted yet. Like, it just feels like a big mess, and it's been just like weighing on us so much lately, and it's been a real big stressor for me, especially because like I'm responsible for this, and you know, I made a big mistake. The Home Affairs official was really kind, and he was like, you know, don't stress too much about it. Like, there is a way around this because of the family law that they have in South Africa. They're not allowed to split up a family, so they can't send me and Ava away and keep my husband here. You know, it's against the law to do that, to break up a family. So he said the way around it is that we just have to go back to Australia and then go to the South African embassy in Canberra in Australia, and basically do our application through them for a spousal visa, another spousal visa. So it's not the end of the world. I emailed Canberra and they said their turnaround time is 21 working days. So we would have to be gone for about a month. Which is a huge financial burden on us, because obviously we were not expecting that, and Australia is really expensive, and the flights for 3 people are expensive. And I'm sure a lot of you are thinking, but can't you just go on your own with Ava? And I definitely could just go on my own with Ava, but I haven't been back home in 2.5 years, and I have a new little brother who's now, I think he's 1.5 years now, and I've never met him. And neither has my husband or Ava, so she has a little uncle, which is pretty cute. So we thought, let's just make a little holiday out of it, because, I mean, when are we going to go again? And we literally had this discussion the other day. We were saying, you know, we're not going to go to Australia for a couple of years. I mean, it's on the other side of the world for us. So expensive. The flight is so long, and it just doesn't make sense. And we had made up our minds, and we said, I think this was a few days before we actually had that appointment. We were like, you know, we're not going to go to Australia for a couple of years, maybe, you know, 3 or 4 years, until Ava's a bit older, and maybe we have another child and that child's a bit older, and, you know, we'll just have a bit more money, hopefully by then. Little did we know we would need to go in 2 months. So the actual protocol is that when we have this meeting, they have to issue us a letter of leave, and they give you 14 days to leave the country. But because we had just gotten that letter stamped on the 10th and the meeting was on the 10th, he was like, well, you know, you've got this letter now for another month. I'm going to see you on the 10th of January, and then you guys have to give me a date for when you're going to book your tickets and leave the country. And then he's going to issue us that letter. So then we'll have 14 days to leave after that. So we just praying really that he will give us a little bit of extra time, that we can maybe leave in the middle of February instead of having to leave in the middle of January, because yeah, that's just like really soon, and it would at least give us a bit more time to save up, because yeah, it's really expensive. But I'm just glad that we have an answer now, instead of just constantly waiting and having our meetings postponed and postponed, because that's so frustrating. And I was honestly really anxious when he gave us this news, because I thought, like, how are we going to do this? Like, how is Vaughan going to take time off work? It's going to be so stressful for him. Like, I felt so guilty that I had made this huge mistake, and now, you know, everybody else has to basically work around me, and it just, like, yeah, it really sucks that I messed up like that, and I feel so guilty, but I know I'm never going to make this mistake again, ever. Like, I will make sure those visas are done like 3 months in advance, and just make sure that I'm totally set when we come back. Yeah, so for now, we'll be going at the start of next year. We're not entirely sure when, but the good news is that I get to see my family, which is fantastic. I get to go back home, which is fantastic. I haven't been in so long, and I really miss it. Yeah, I'd like to go back and have just my familiar places, and, you know, see my dad and stuff like that. It will be really nice for us, I think. And I'll be doing some travel vlogs, which is exciting, showing you guys what Australia is like, which I'm excited about. That's really going to be cool. So I'm going to get some nice content out of that, and, you know, make some family videos and things for us to look back on one day as well, which is also a reason why I do YouTube, because it is so nice to watch the videos again. But yeah, I thought I should give you guys an update on what's happening. I know you guys, I had so many people message me on posts on Instagram, you know, saying you're praying for me and thinking of me, which was the night before that meeting was held. And I really appreciate that. I mean, everyone's been so supportive, and no one has like really said anything horrible to me, you know, about making such a big mistake. You know, we're all human, and I know we all make mistakes, but yeah, this is a pretty big one. I think that if we didn't have a child together, they may have actually kicked me out for good. Yeah, because, you know, they really don't like it when you overstay your visa, which I can understand, and it is a really big deal. But thank goodness for Ava, because, you know, they can't split a family up, so that means I get to come back. I'm just relieved that we got that answer. We got an answer. Not that one, it wasn't the one I was praying for and one we wanted, but God has a plan for us for some other reason. We are supposed to go back, maybe just so that I can see my dad and so I can be home for a little bit, because like I said, we haven't been in ages. Anyway, that is like a big like thing lifted off of my chest. I had such bad anxiety over this, not knowing if they were going to kick me out, if I was going to be able to stay, what was going on. But anyways, now we have that answer. I thought I should update you guys on that. Yeah, everyone's just been so supportive, and it's so nice to get people's messages, and I've had some people check up on me, and, you know, to see if we have an answer, which is just so lovely, and I love you guys so much. I know this is a short little video. There'll be some other videos coming soon. Stay tuned on this channel. Please do hit that subscribe button and the little bell so that you get notified about our videos, and go check me out on my other social media platforms like Facebook and Instagram. But for now, that's all I've got for you guys, just that little update. I love you all, and I'm wishing you a fantastic day further, and I'll check you in the next video. Bye.